Right, my darling puppy Roo. I wanted to tell you the story of your birth in case you asked me one day and I was too old and addled to remember the details. So, here we go. You were actually due to be born around Mummy's birthday, and I remember thinking, oh, no. I want my birthday for myself, please. I don't want to share my birthday. So anyway, as good fortune would have it, you were born before Mummy's birthday. So what had happened is I have this funny thing that happens when I go into labour, or when I used to go into labour, and that was that I would get like a craving. I'd want a big dinner. I guess it was my body's way of saying, okay, let's fuel up because there is a big event about to take place that you need lots of energy for. So anyway, the craving I got, let's go back a step. So it was Labour Day 2010, and that's a public holiday. And little did I know, but I was actually in labour. Auntie Soz had come over with Lennox. He was really little, so he could play with Mila because she was really little. And Uncle Luke, that was who she was married to at the time, he was there as well. And we lived at Mahuta Grove. I think it was 12 Mahuta Grove, this little cul-de-sac. It's a cute-ass little house that me and Dad had first bought, our first place together. And the kids were all playing out on the little cul-de-sac on their ride-ons. And I remember crouching down. I was in my jammies pretty much like this because I was so uncomfortable. And I remember crouching down, and as I crouched down, a huge big fart came out. And I was like, oh my God, guys, where did that come from? Like I mean a big fart. I was like, oh, that's weird. But now looking back, it was because I was in labour and all the pressure of the baby because you had dropped. Anyway, so they went home. I was like, oh, I'm just craving. And what's that place called? We liked going to it over the years as well. Nando's. Yep, so up in Birkenhead I went because we were living in Northcote. So I went up to Birkenhead Nando's and I got myself a bit of chicken, a bit of rice, some corn, might even had some hot chips, I don't know, like a little spread. And I sat there on my own and I ate to my heart's content. Anyway, and then I went home and, getting Mila ready for bed, and off I went to bed. And what I remember is going to bed around 10 p.m. and then around midnight, I was dreaming that I was in pain or in labour. In the dream, I was in pain, and then I think I was going, like grumbling in my sleep, and eventually the pain was so intense it woke me up. So anyway, then I woke up and I thought, this might be labour. I had a funny feeling, even though it was about a week or 10 days early you were. So I went and I laid on the couch and I thought, okay, just relax, because back, I don't know what they say now, but back in those days they used to say, take some Panadol and try and lie down and rest, like try and conserve your energy. Hang on, I think this might be Daddy home. Oh, it is Daddy home. It's Daddy. And right as I'm in the middle of telling your birth story, you arrived home. Puppy, I'm telling you your birth story, which I've always wanted to do. The story when you were born, and yes, she's walked in. Now she's my big baby.
Oh, who's that?
You. This is a video for you. Yeah. Silly goose. Anyway, so I was up to the part where I had the craving. Went up Nando's, had my craving, ate all the foods that I wanted, came back home. That's right, I was up to the part where I woke. In the dream, I was in pain. And I was writhing around in bed in pain, and then I woke myself up going, oh, this is labour. So that's right. Pop 2 Panadol. And the midwife would say, go back to bed. Pop 2 Panadol and go back to bed and try and rest. So I popped 2 Panadol and I went on the couch because Daddy was in bed. And I was like lying on the couch, trying to rest. And I just remember that every time I would move, like my leg, even the slightest bit, even my foot, a contraction would start. And I'd be like, oh, because contractions hurt, right? So then I'd lie there again, still, trying to rest like the midwife said to do. And then, as you do in your sleep, I must have dozed off a little bit. And then, I might roll over and then, another big contraction. And this went on for hours of me too scared to move. Oh, she's back again. Yes, he is. This was, it's funny because I'm talking to you here and then you're there. That's my little makeup bag. Anyway, don't interrupt my birth story. This is your birth story. I don't know, in case you want to know it one day. And I have done Nico's a few years ago and I never got around to doing yours. Anyway, after like 4 or 5 hours of lying on the couch, too scared to move because obviously of the pain, I just thought to myself, Mila's going to be waking up soon and she's going to be really scared seeing me in pain. I just need to hurry this whole process up. Like, obviously if I start moving, it's going to bring on the contractions. So pull yourself together and start moving. So I got up off the couch, started moving. The contractions started getting really close together. And things started happening. And I remember calling my friend Sarah. She was Sarah Voidasek at the time. Sarah Havens now, one of my bestest, oldest friends. And I said, can you come over and look after Mila while I go to the hospital? I think things are starting to happen. And she came, and when she arrived, she started timing my contractions, and she said, I think you need to go now. Like, these are, and I was in a lot of pain by then. I don't think Daddy really knew what to do, you know, being a young bloke. And she's like, I think you need to get in the car. Getting in the car was the hardest thing, because it was like a little bit of a, the pathway was sort of down. I remember holding on to Daddy and having a contraction and getting in the car, and she said all she could see is the car going like stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, the whole out the road. Because every time the car would move, it would bring on a massive contraction. Anyway, we made it to hospital. I remember Daddy got me a wheelchair, got up to the room, and your birth was, out of the three, the most beautiful birth I got to experience in my whole life, especially after Mila, because Mila's birth was very, very traumatic, like really hard. And so we arrived to hospital around about 6 a.m, I would say, and you were born shortly after 7 a.m. And it was about an hour of not loud screaming like you see in the movies or anything like that. It was like about an hour of contractions, and then it was 6 minutes of pushing for you, my darling. It was about 3 contractions, 6 minutes of pushing, 3 big pushes, and then you were out. And I remember when I finally got your head out, because that's quite the hard bit, Bubbly was there too. Bubbly and Daddy were freaking out because, I mean, your head's just there and your face is all funny coloured, blue and red and whatever, and they were freaking out that there was something wrong with you. They didn't realise that you can still breathe through the umbilical cord. So, so you were born very quickly after that. And the moment you were born, you let out the most almighty scream. Like, your cry was like, I remember looking at Bubbly and I were like, oh my God, like, we've never heard a baby cry so deeply. And like, from your soul. You can hear someone's home. Luckily I finished the story now. Anyway, I just held you. I remember the minute you came out, I was like so in love with you. It was like a romantic love. It's a weird thing to say, but I just was just so in love with you. It didn't take me a while to start loving you. It was like an instant connection of, oh my God, I'm so in love with this baby. Anyway, that's your birth story, my babes. In case I get too old and I forget it. I did Nico's like years ago, and I'd always meant to do yours and Mila's, so I've done yours before I forget exactly all the details. It was the most beautiful birth. It was not traumatic and painful like Mila's and Nico's was. It was joy-filled and peaceful and beautiful, and just remember holding you like in awe because you were so pretty. Everyone would go, gosh, she's such a pretty baby. You had your lips were like little rosebuds, and your eyes were really like almonds, and you had hair, quite a lot of hair. Oh, you were beautiful, darling. You're a beautiful baby. Easy baby, beautiful baby. Didn't give me any problems, just cruisy baby. And then you grew up to be a hoha. Made up for it, but yeah, most beautiful baby. Anyway, Mummy's babbling on and on and on. I love you, and I hope you enjoyed your birth story as much as I enjoyed telling it. I love you so much, my girl. Love you forever. Don't say much,